A person sits alone in a dark room. The power is out, the windows have turned black, the walls have disappeared into shadow, and somewhere outside rain taps us against the glass. So they light a candle. Just one small flame. And immediately the room changes. Not because it becomes bright, it doesn't. Most of the room is still dark. But now there is something alive in the darkness, something moving. Something warm, something the eyes can hold on to. And without thinking about it, the person starts staring, not checking their phone, not talking, not doing anything useful. Just watching the flame bend, recover, shiver, and rise again. And this is the strange part. Modern humans are surrounded by entertainment. We have screens, music, messages, endless noise. But a tiny piece of burning wax can still make the human brain go quiet. For a few minutes, the mind stops chasing the future. It stops rehearsing conversations. It stops checking danger. It stops needing explanation. It just watches fire. And maybe that is not random, because for most of human existence, fire was not decoration. Fire was the line between the known world and everything waiting outside it. Imagine a group of early humans at night. Not in a house, not behind walls, not under streetlights, just bodies in a dark landscape. The sky is huge, the trees are black, the ground is full of sounds. A branch cracks somewhere beyond the light. Nobody knows what made it, and that is the problem. Darkness does not have to contain danger to become dangerous. It only has to hide information. The human brain hates uncertainty. A shadow could be nothing, or it could be teeth. A movement in the grass could be wind, or it could be something watching. And in that world, the calm person was not always the safest person. The suspicious person survived. The one who heard something. The one who looked twice. The one who imagined the worst before it arrived. Evolution did not reward perfect accuracy. It rewarded the nervous system that made fewer deadly mistakes. And this is why modern people still feel ridiculous fear in ordinary darkness. You turn off the kitchen light, then suddenly you walk faster. You know nothing is behind you. But your body does not care. Your logic is in the modern apartment. Your nervous system is somewhere much older. It is still moving through night. And then humans found a way to cheat the darkness. Fire. At first it must have seemed almost impossible. A small sun that could be held. A moving border. A circle where faces appeared, hands became visible, and the ground stopped being endless. Fire did not remove the night. That is important. It pushed the night back, only a little. Just enough for humans to see each other. Just enough for the unknown to have an edge. And that may be one reason fire still feels so comforting. It gives the brain a boundary. Here is the light. There is the dark. Here is the group. There is the outside. Here is warmth. There is uncertainty. A flame makes danger visible by creating contrast. And visible danger is easier to live with than invisible danger. This is why a fireplace during a storm feels different from a bright ceiling lamp. The ceiling lamp simply removes darkness. But fire does something older. It reminds the body that darkness is still there, but contained. It lets the nervous system feel alert without feeling alone. And that combination is strangely powerful. Because fire is not pure safety, it is controlled danger. It can burn skin, destroy forests, erase homes. And yet, when it is small enough, humans move closer to it. We sit beside danger because it protects us from a bigger danger. That contradiction may be one of the oldest emotional bargains in the human mind. Watch people around a campfire. At first they talk loudly, they joke, they move around, they adjust chairs, they throw wood into the flames, but slowly something changes. The voices become quieter. The spaces between sentences get longer. Someone looks into the fire and forgets to finish their thought. Someone else stops laughing and just listens. Faces appear and disappear in orange light. For a moment, people become easier to read. Not perfectly, just softly. The fire turns the group into a circle, and circles matter. Around fire, no one is completely outside. Everyone can see everyone else. Everyone shares the same center. This may have changed human life more deeply than we usually imagine. Because before artificial light, night probably ended many things. Movement, work, distance, safety, but fire extended the human day, not just physically, socially. It gave humans extra hours after survival tasks were finished. Hours for stories, warnings, memory, grief, planning, imitation, teaching, belonging. The same darkness that once separated humans became the background for human connection. And this is where fire becomes more than a tool. It becomes emotional architecture. A place where the group could gather without needing to move. A place where attention naturally returned. A place where human voices could survive the night. And over time, humans started doing something strange around fire. They stared into it. Not occasionally, constantly. Even now, people who cannot sit still for 5 minutes can stare at flames for hours. A person checks their phone every 30 seconds. But beside a fire, something slows down. And scientists notice this too. In some studies, people exposed to firelight showed reduced blood pressure, lower stress responses, and increased relaxation. But here's the strange part. Fire should not be relaxing. From a survival perspective, it is dangerous. It burns flesh, consumes oxygen, destroys entire landscapes. And yet, the human nervous system often responds to contained fire with calm instead of panic. Why? Because the brain does not react only to danger. It reacts to readable danger. A flame moves unpredictably, but not chaotically. The motion has rhythm. The crackling has pattern. The light flickers, but the flickering remains understandable. And the human brain is constantly searching for patterns, especially at night, especially in uncertainty. A campfire gives the mind something ancient to track, movement without immediate threat, alertness without emergency. And that combination creates a strange emotional state, half vigilance, half peace, which may explain something modern humans rarely notice. Many people cannot fall asleep in silence anymore. They need rain sounds, television noise, fans, ambient videos, some kind of soft sensory movement. Complete silence can feel psychologically loud, because deep silence forces the brain to keep searching. Searching for movement, searching for interruption, searching for danger. But fire gives the nervous system a focal point. A predictable uncertainty. Enough stimulation to calm the surveillance system inside the brain. And suddenly, the modern habit of sleeping beside glowing screens starts feeling older than technology. Think about cities at night. Thousands of glowing windows, street lights stretching through darkness, tiny moving lights everywhere. People often describe cities as modern, but emotionally they may be ancient, because humans never truly adapted to darkness. We built around it. The modern world is filled with artificial fire, candles in restaurants, string lights during holidays, orange lamps in lonely rooms, phone screens glowing against human faces at 2 a.m. Even fake fireplaces exist. People literally stream videos of burning wood onto giant televisions, not because they need heat, because they want the feeling. And this is where the story becomes unsettling. Modern humans may still be emotionally organizing themselves around ancient nighttime instincts. The office worker sitting under warm cafe lighting. The exhausted student studying beside a desk lamp at midnight. The person leaving the television on while sleeping alone. None of these behaviors feel primitive, but the nervous system underneath them might be, because for most of human history, light meant proximity to safety, and darkness meant separation from it. That emotional equation may still exist deep inside the brain. Light equals presence, darkness equals uncertainty, which changes how modern loneliness starts to look. A brightly lit city can still feel emotionally cold, but one small lamp beside another human being can completely change the nervous system. Because humans were never only searching for brightness, they were searching for signs of nearby life. And maybe that is why fire changes conversations. People say things around campfires they would never say in daylight. Old memories appear, confessions appear, silence becomes less uncomfortable. Even eye contact changes. Not direct, not aggressive, softer. The moving light breaks human faces apart gently. Nobody is fully visible at once, and that matters more than it seems. Because humans are extremely sensitive to being watched. Bright environments increase self-awareness, but firelight reduces visual certainty slightly. Faces blur, edges soften. Expressions shift slowly, and suddenly the nervous system relaxes just enough for vulnerability to become possible. Around fire, humans exist in partial visibility. Not hidden, not exposed. Somewhere in between, and maybe ancient humans discovered something there. That darkness alone creates fear, but shared darkness creates intimacy, which might explain why some of humanity's oldest behaviors still happen beside low light. Storytelling, music, physical closeness, quiet emotional honesty. Even today, people gather around candles during grief, around bonfires during celebration, around fireplaces during winter storms. Again and again, humans return to small controlled light during emotionally uncertain moments, as if some ancient part of the brain still believes, if the flame survives the night, maybe we will too. But there is another strange thing about fire. Humans do not only gather around it, we carry it. For thousands of years, people transported burning embers across enormous distances. Not because making fire was easy, because losing fire was dangerous. An ancient human walking through darkness with a small flame was not carrying convenience, they were carrying survival itself. And eventually, that survival system became permanent. Humans stopped adapting themselves to night. Instead, we started redesigning the world around light. Villages, torches, lanterns, roads, cities. Civilization slowly became an anti-darkness machine. And once you notice this, modern life starts looking different. Look at airports at night. Gas stations glowing beside empty highways. Convenience stores open at 3 a.m. Tiny apartment windows floating in darkness like isolated campfires. The modern world never sleeps completely. Somewhere, light is always awake. And maybe humans need that psychologically more than we realize, because people rarely fear darkness itself. They fear being alone inside it. A child runs upstairs after turning off the basement light. An adult leaves the hallway lamp on while sleeping. Someone falls asleep beside a television they are not even watching. These behaviors sound irrational, until you remember something important. For most of human history, being isolated at night was genuinely dangerous. The human nervous system still remembers environments the conscious mind has forgotten. And this creates one of the strangest contradictions in modern life. Humans have never been physically safer, but psychologically, many people still feel exposed at night. Not because predators wait outside the house, but because the ancient brain still expects vulnerability after dark. And maybe this is why modern anxiety feels so exhausting. Ancient danger was often visible. You could hear it, see it, run from it. A predator had shape, a storm had sound, a fire had location. But modern threats are different. Emails, deadlines, social judgment, future uncertainty, financial fear, loneliness in crowded cities. The nervous system reacts to all of it. But the brain struggles with invisible danger, because invisible danger has no boundary, no clear ending, no visible edge. And this is where fire becomes emotionally important again. A flame creates a center, a place for attention to land, a contained environment, visible space, visible warmth, visible light. For a few moments, the nervous system no longer has to scan endlessly. It can rest inside something understandable, which may explain why people often stare into fire during emotionally overwhelming periods of life. After funerals, during storms, after arguments, during loneliness, humans instinctively move toward controlled light when the internal world becomes uncertain. Not because fire solves emotional pain, but because ancient environments trained the brain to calm down beside visible safety. And over time, modern humans recreated this feeling artificially. Warm cafes, night lamps, golden restaurant lighting, soft orange bedrooms, even the color temperature humans prefer at night resembles fire more than daylight. Without realizing it, people keep rebuilding fragments of ancient emotional environments. Now imagine the moment a campfire begins to die. The wood collapses inward, the flames shrink lower, the light becomes weaker, and suddenly everything beyond the circle starts returning. The trees disappear again. The distance becomes unreadable again. The unknown starts moving closer. Ancient humans must have felt this constantly, not as abstract fear, as physical reality. The fire is fading, and with it, certainty fades too. Maybe that is why humans still feel strangely emotional watching embers disappear. Even now, there is something deeply recognizable about dying firelight. A quiet sadness, a slowing of energy. Conversations become softer. People stop moving as much. The nervous system begins preparing for darkness again. And maybe this is the deepest reason humans stare into fire. Not because fire is beautiful, though it is. Not because it is useful, though it was. But because for an enormous part of human history, fire represented something emotionally larger than warmth. Presence. A signal that someone was still awake. A signal that the group still existed. A signal that the darkness had not fully won yet. And even now, inside glowing cities, warm apartments, late-night screens, and tiny lights beside sleeping humans, some ancient part of the brain may still be searching for that same feeling. Not just light, but the emotional proof that we are not alone in the dark.